All right, welcome to the Soulcruzer podcast. And I'm not in the studio, I'm out here in the fields. I thought, I would normally just do, I'll just do audio because that's to me what a podcast is. However, in this day and age, doing video podcast seems to be the trend. And so I am both podcasting and vlogging, I guess. I've got my little Zoom H8, my little mobile podcast studio out. And I'm just using the Sennheiser mic, which I like. I like the Sennheiser mic. It is picking up a lot of my hand vibration here, so I'll try to stop moving around to keep some of that out. But anyway, so here I am out in the fields outside of Southern. Decided this morning at 6 o'clock that I would come out and do a podcast outside, because I wanted to do a podcast, but I thought, why go in a studio? Why not just get out and do what it is we like doing, which is doing our wisdom walks. And I do a podcast out here in the field, a vodcast, so I'll be on video as well as making a podcast. So you'll be able to listen to this at the normal podcasting place. Soulcruzer is the name of the podcast. That's also the website. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, then soulcruzer.com is where the blog is. Because you know what? I'm actually really a blogger, but I've got to stay. I think in this current environment and the times in which we live in, that probably just being a videographer or a vlogger or a podcaster, you got to be multimodal, you know what I mean? You got to be doing the videos, you got to be doing the podcast, and you got to be doing the writing. Now, I prefer the blogging's my thing. I've been a blogger since 2003, 2004. Love the medium, but hey, social media is around, videos around, podcasts are around, and who reads blogs anymore? I hope that you do, if you are a fan of the blog and you are listening/watching this, because it will be on the blog as well. And in fact, you know what? I'm saying that, and I remember as a hardcore blogger that one of the things that was a thing that you wanted to do as a blogger is that you had all these different media types, right? So whether you were writing, whether you were doing short form, long form, whether you added audio, whether you did video, you had these different content types, infographics. So we weren't actually limited by the media or the medium to make a post. But of course, these things branch out, and you got people who are just into videos, and so they became YouTubers and vloggers and the like. And then of course you've got your guys who love audio, and we found a way to do podcasting in a better way. Podcasting tools, studios, all that sort of stuff kind of got better, so people branched off and became podcasters, because there was always those headlines about the blog being dead. But so I am one of those bloggers who is a multimodal kind of guy in terms of the written, the podcast, and now the vodcast, and the videos. Videos never took off for me as much because of cameras, lighting. I think it was more the editing, you know, having to spend hours editing was not not in my mindset to do. And this is going to be a crooked video because this probably isn't the best stand that I have, but it'll do. Hopefully a big wind doesn't come here and blow everything down, but you know, that's okay. And actually it's a nice little space to be doing a podcast out here in the field. I mean, you can hear the planes, but you can also hear the birds, hopefully. Yeah, I just did that when there's a plane overhead. I am not too far from Birmingham, so, you know, there'll be planes overhead, the major air corridor. So, yeah, so there's a lot of sound pollution here, but it's okay because there's birds too. I like it. All right, so anything in particular that I wanted to talk about? I think I did. The one thing, I'm just getting back into this format, podcasting really, but since podcasting is vodcasting now seems to be the norm, I've got the video going as well. So yeah, I'll add this to the game to supplement the blog, or just to be a part of the blog. You know what? That's one of the things that I am a bit tired of, leery of, don't want to participate in much anymore, which is, and I wrote about this the other day. It was Kierkegaard, and he said, when you label me, you negate me. So I've always been a guy who resist labels for that very reasons, because labels automatically collapses you down to oh no, do you know what I've done? Or did I don't know. I don't know what I've done. Yeah, maybe it might have been recording, but we'll see. Between I'm just thinking, did I just do a rookie mistake because I haven't podcasted in so long with the field recorder? I can't remember whether I turned it on or not, you know. I think it was on. I think it's been on, maybe. So if it's not, there you go. So I got a second form of media. So if the sound quality changes halfway through this thing, you will know why, because I have probably, or did, and maybe he's made a rookie mistake. Oh man, we got 2 planes going overhead now. So yeah, maybe I made a rookie mistake. But anyway, I don't even remember where I was at. Where was I going with this? Oh yes, the labels. You label me, you negate me. And yeah, when you label something, it just narrows down the field of possibilities, isn't it? So, you know, to say, you're a blogger, then that just puts me in the category of whatever you have in your mind of what a blogger is, or podcaster, or vlogger. You know, it just narrows the possibilities of who you are. So I'm trying to ditch the labels. So I love just creating, I love media. And whether that's going to be written, podcast, video, what the hell does it matter? You have a central point that you can go, Soulcruzer.com, and there'll be stuff to read, to watch, to look at, to listen to, and so on. You can choose whatever your favorite mode of interacting with me, whatever that might be. And what is it that I blog about? So what am I about? I'm really about the intersection of philosophy, mythology, the whole sort of human potential space. So, I'm a professional coach and trainer and working with people in terms of mindset and potential and all that stuff. But my love is for, how to live, the classical philosophical question, how to live. So what is a life for, right? So, and I'm not an academic philosopher by all means. I'm a big fan of Socrates and ancient philosophy, where this whole philosophy thing was about how to live. And so, that's what I focus on. I focus on our everyday making our way through this world that doesn't seem to make sense. It's a very absurd world that we live in. So, and I just have spent my life trying to make sense of it, as that's just kind of what turns me on. As I call myself sometimes the barefoot philosopher, just to say, hey, dudes, I'm not an academic dude. You're not going to get rational arguments out of me necessarily, like the logical stuff. And no, what you're going to get is like being at the pub and having a discussion with your mates is all I'm really about in that instance. I do these little wisdom walks in the morning from time to time, but they serve a couple strands for me. One is my because I'm self-employed, so it's my meeting time. So that's where I go and do my thinking. Is on my little wisdom walks, but it's also, I love walking because once you're in motion, I think motion gives you a different perspective on whatever it is that you are contemplating and or thinking about or trying to find a solution to. Go out for a good walk, and you will find that just being in motion changes the way that you see the problem or the issue or the challenge. So it gives you a different perspective. So I love to get out and walk and talk to myself and just think out loud as I am walking. And, this podcast, vlog, I am very much into I suppose it's more of a vlogging style than a video style, because it's very stream of consciousness for me. I have a loose idea about what I may be talking about on any given episode, so this isn't a niched down podcast where you're just gonna have a narrow subject matter where I'm all over the place. If it's about living, it's about life, it's about something that I'm bumping up against, it's all fair game for me. And of course, AI is a big topic on everybody's lips. So part of my exploration has been, and if you are a reader of the blog, you've seen some of my blog posts on this idea of being a soft cyborg. So I've been exploring that. The integration of man and machine, super intelligence. And so I'm very fascinated by the whole concept of the soft cyborg, as you can see. So I've got these meta glasses on. So essentially that, and I was, what was I reading? Anyway, so essentially like the basis of the quote was the fact that the telephone extended our hearing, so you could listen to and talk to people at great distance. The television, McLuhan, I think it may have been, the television extended our vision, so you can see more than what's in front of you there. And so the idea is, the question I was asking is, what does the LLM extend. And so for me, I think it extends our cognition, right? So if you learn how to think with AI, not use it as a search engine and use it as a, hey, write this thing, copy paste thing, but an actual thinking tool, extend the cognition. So, one of my favorite things as a kid, I lived in a library, loved books, all the, and I would be anywhere in the library, just like wandering the stacks and picking random subjects to get into. But it was just the fact that it was a big library, and just being in a centralized place with all that knowledge at my fingertips was fascinating for me then and now. I just love knowledge for knowledge's sakes and exploring ideas, following my curiosity about this, human experience, really. So to have that kind of access now in my pocket, like I got nearly all the, things that, if, all the knowledge, all the human knowledge that's been accumulated is at my fingertips in terms of interacting with. And it's not just that look it up and read something. It's actually, I can have a conversation with the text, and it can extend beyond the initial fragment or question or half-formed thought that I have or had. And so to me, that's such an amazing tool. I'm floored by the concept that I have the Library of Alexandria in my pocket, which is what it is, isn't it? It's like, it's just ridiculously exciting, ridiculously crazy that I have that kind of access to knowledge and ideas. And you can say all the things that you want about AI hallucinates or it's stolen or all those kind of things. And I'm not so interested in those debates, because think about it. So how do we learn anything? You've learned stuff from someone else. I mean, creativity is largely driven by what you've come in contact with. You're learning, the books you've read, the TV media, the people you talk to, all gets funneled into this brain, and then you synthesize something out of it. So, for me, that's the same kind of concept there. And then, you get the whole sort of AI slop thing, but hell, we've been producing internet slop before there was ever an AI. I mean, it's just slop. It just happens. Regardless who makes it, it's just, slop is slop. So, so I don't really get into all of those kind of debates, really. For me, it's like, we could take this new piece of technology and be afraid of it and have this big existential crisis about this new technology, or you can embrace the technology and see, man, these planes seem to be getting lower and lower. You can embrace this technology and see what you can become. So a lot of what I see with the AI stuff, and you can go on Twitter and YouTube and wherever, and a lot of it is around productivity and how it can make you faster and things like that. I think for me, that's just a way of taking something that we've already done and just being able to do it more of it or faster, and the like, versus what does this tool allow me to become? So what's the next evolution of creativity? What's the next evolution of thinking of education? What's the next evolution? What does this tool, this technology allow me to become? And if you think of all the technological inventions that we've had, think of the possibilities that it's opened up and created. I mean, just doing this, it isn't so long ago that to be able to make a video and to do what essentially is radio, to be able to do that with a device that I carry around in my pocket is, again, another thing that's just insane. But, why resist it? And people resisted the iPhone, didn't they? The whole sort of iPhone, smartphone. I was just watching the video and he was just talking about, there was people who just love their Blackberries and thought, the iPhone, a touchscreen type of device was just a toy and a fad and all those sort of things. But now look, I've got this thing that I'm recording with, this tiny computer that I can have a TV studio in. I've got a radio broadcasting. I mean, I could go live to the world, not just live to some small signal 20-mile radius thing. I can hit live, and in theory, it's going, well, not even in theory, I hit live, not that people all over the world will be watching it, but in essence, if I go and live stream on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever, TikTok, then that stream can be picked up globally. Got the radio out of this thing. I could go onto Mixcloud and in 5 minutes, you've got your own radio station where you can play music and DJ like you've wanted to do back in the days when you were a kid. That's there. I can live stream audio. So when I was into Radio Warwickshire, we often did live broadcast, audio broadcast to the station. I mean, there it is. It's right there. It's all there. Then I can go and produce everything on the phone. I don't even need to go hop on my computer if I don't want to. It's easier, but I could edit. I can upload. I can do everything just from that device that I'm recording on right now. So every time some new piece of technology comes, of course, there's backlash against it. There's fear that comes with that in terms of how does this thing affect me? How is it changing my life? And I know, as a corporate trainer, change, people, we all have these different reactions to change, don't we? And, and one of those reactions is fear, and withdrawal is another. So I realize that that's what's going on a global scale as, AI becomes more and more. That, yes, some people are going to be early adopters and they're going to embrace it and they're going to go and they're going to push this thing to the limit and they're going to see what they can make of it. Others are going to be like, you know what? This is scary. It's making our brains rot. It's doing slop. It's stolen all this stuff. It's it's all these things as a reaction to it, to kind of resist it. And I think, and there's still people that I know who, I was talking to someone the other day, and it's like, I guess he was in his 60s probably. I mean, he's still working, he has a business, but he was like, the younger people, I got some people on my team that are do the whole AI thing. For him, he didn't feel the need to engage with it because he's of a certain age and space and time in his career that technology is cool, it's neat, and he's aware of it, but he's not interested in engaging with it for himself. And I know others who won't engage with it at all. So it's just a weird time. But for me personally, I am taking the pioneer approach, the explorer's approach to this new technology, and I want to see what I can become, or what we can become as humans with this piece of technology. So what does this extend our potential as humans, that potential? Yes. Now, I said all of that, and I did say that I do stream of consciousness whenever I do my podcast, because the other thing I wanted to talk about was I was going to talk about the setup of your day before breakfast. And I wrote a post yesterday about your reality tunnel. So set your reality tunnel before breakfast, or something like that. Anyway, it's on the blog, you can read it. And the gist of that was just about how there's this, and then, we think about it. When you wake up, there's a space in there where you are still in the dream world and in the waking world. And that's a very, I like to call it a sacred space, when you're right in between both. And so what defines the rest of your day is, what is it that you do as you come fully into the wake space? So is your first course of action to reach for your phone and check your messages, or check your emails, your WhatsApp messages, your social media as your first thing as you come back into the land of the fully awake, although some would question whether we are fully awake or conscious or not. And if you do that, then whatever you're receiving in has an effect on the rest of your day. And the gist of the article or blog post was the fact that actually, use that space to set yourself up for the day. Whether that's, for me, it's, go downstairs, I get my coffee, and if it's not raining or anything like that, or too cold, head out into the back garden and have a cup of coffee, barefoot if I can, just to kind of feel the earth again and to come back into the waking state. I tend to do most of my reading in the morning as well. So, and things that I've chosen to explore. So anyway, the idea here is, it's not about the morning routine as such from a productivity hack point of view, but it's just taking advantage of that little liminal space there where you're coming back into consciousness, and you've got a very, very receptive mind at that time. The mind has been rested, now it's come back into waking, and it's just ready to be programmed by somebody, some reality tunnel you're going to step into. So I think my point was just to choose what you allow in and what effect that's going to have on your day. So I'm very much, and I know some health nuts would be, I have coffee first thing. You should have a drink of water, drink water because you're dehydrated, right? That's the better thing to do. But for me, it's have my cup of coffee and just, there's almost just it's like a light meditation, I suppose, not a formal meditation where I'm turning on the music, although sometimes I do that, sometimes I light an incense, but it's just before I let the day get in, it's just connecting back with me, who I am, my thoughts, just getting back in touch with Clay, those first crucial moments upon waking. And I find that my hot coffee is just it's not a necessity. It's an anchor, a grounding space, and that brings me back into wake mode. Then I start doing my other stuff, like reading. I try to read before going on to doing the sort of social media stuff, or checking your feeds or checking the email. I try and get the reading done, because it's so easy to get thrown off course, isn't it? Soon as you pick up this amazing device and put it in your hands, and with the best intentions that you might, I'm just gonna take a note, because I do a lot of digital notes, and because it's right there, it's like, I'll just go onto my Obsidian app and grab this note. But yeah, the temptation, as soon as you do that, all those other icons are staring you in the face, and I'll just see what's going on here. And then the next thing you know, a half an hour is gone, 45 minutes. Yeah, so it's so easy to get lost in the black box, isn't it? It's so easy. I feel like with this mic, I should be doing some stand-up comedy with the mic in hand. I'm doing stand-up comedy for the rabbits and the birds and the bees out here. A funny thing happened to me on the way to the field today. Yeah, okay. All right, there's my stand-up routine right there. So, yes, all that to say, yes, now I'm looking at, so here's the thing. Now I'm thinking that you have, so I don't even know what the state of vlogging is necessarily these days, but I'm looking at how long this video is right now, and I'm thinking, if you're a YouTuber, you want this to be 10 to 12 minutes, and then that's it. Like, short, say the point that you're going to say, and done. Podcast, you have a little bit more flexibility, I think, with the podcast. Can drift on, especially if you do a stream of consciousness podcast like I do, or many of them, you podcast. Can drift a little bit long. And of course, your long form writing, I guess everybody goes to Substack now for their, instead of blogging on their own blog. That's another soapbox for me to get on. It's like, I see so many people on Substack, so many people that were long-term bloggers they got the FOMO, so they've stopped writing on their blogs and migrated over to Substack. But if you were to sit back and take a look at exactly what you're doing, you're just blogging on a platform that somebody else owns, because it's the same thing. It goes out on the web. People can read it just like they would do if they went to your podcast, and they could subscribe to your blog and get it through the email. So yeah, but I know a lot of people love that sort of space. I guess it's maybe that's the social aspect. I guess back in the day we had web rings and things like that for discoverability of your, and maybe that's what it is, isn't it? I think one of the reasons why podcast struggled more to go mainstream, because it didn't have a central location for distribution, whereas with video pretty much dominated by YouTube. I know there is Vimeo and some others now, but YouTube kind of dominates, doesn't it, in terms of where you go to watch videos. I'll go onto YouTube and find a video on that. For a podcast, you got Spotify now. They've been making their push for podcasts, and you got Apple Podcasts, and even YouTube now. They're like, okay, well, let's get into the podcasting space too. So you can do podcasting on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of places to go to find your podcast, which I think made it harder for podcasters to find that distribution. Hence why people, at least in the beginning, they would just record it the audio and put it onto YouTube, because YouTube has better distribution opportunities available. But then people just started doing the whole vodcasting, because I want to do a podcast, but I need the distribution, and YouTube is the best place to make that happen. Hence we got vodcast now. Hence what this is going to be. So, and yeah, it's going to be long. I'm not going to not. This is a podcast, by the way. So I am making a video, but I'm not making a video. I'm making a podcast and I'm recording me making the podcast. How about that? So yes, that is, if you've made it to this point in time on this video, then more power to you. But yeah, so it won't necessarily be that 10 to 12 minute kind of thing, because I'm not trying to do the video thing. I'm doing the podcasting thing, the vodcasting thing. I actually like recording the podcast out here in the field, as opposed to necessarily needing to sit in my studio and record at the desk. I get to be out and moving. I guess I could sing too. Okay, I'm just getting silly right about now because I can do that. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up now. Essentially, where I'm at is I'm a big time blogs. I love the whole blogging idea, and indie blogging now seems to be the way to try and push, but even that's not getting the traction that it should be getting, although there's a lot of indie bloggers out there, and that movement, if you're into it, indie blogging, check it out. But yeah, so I guess what it was is it's all about this distribution thing. So Medium came up so that you can write on that platform, because the promise is there's lots of people there, so you have a better chance of being discovered or people finding your material, versus if you just have a lone blog out there in the middle of the World Wide Web. Who's going to find you? And you find yourself having to turn to the very platforms that drove podcasting as into second-class citizenship. So you got to turn to those very platforms in order to trying to find an audience. But of course, the platforms have their own agenda. And I'd rather you stay on the platform, not off the platform. So algorithm isn't necessarily, or at least on some platforms, X particularly, let's just name it. It's, hey, you got links, not happy. Facebook got links, not too keen on sending people away. Blue Sky said they don't. Mastodon doesn't. But then, you can argue who's all there. So, but that's another one. I don't want to go into that kind of stuff. I want to stay, well, I'll throw it out there because it's a thought. And throw it out there. And it's good to have conversations about these things. I do try and steer away from topics that have that kind of what do you call it? What's the word? What's the phrase? Contention, so where it's not necessarily creating a healthy discussion where we're trying to grow. It just becomes discussions where my point of view is the right one and yours is the wrong one, and and now we're into that kind of emotional argument where you have no chance of convincing me of anything because this is the right way to do this thing. I like exploring ideas. So I'm throwing those things out. Happy to hear people's views and what you think about these things, but in a healthy way. So maybe I'm missing something. We all have blind spots, don't we? So it's good that you have philosophical discussions, because in that discussion, then we get a chance to create a synthesis. So you might open my eyes to something that I'm not seeing, just because my lived experience hasn't exposed me to whatever you bring to the table. And yeah, anyway, I like those kind of discussions. So if you're into that kind of stuff, do connect with me. I'm on all the platforms. I'm into the media space, so I can't. Well, I could, but I don't. I'm not a blue sky. I'm not a Twitter refugee that's gone over to blue sky, because I like their politics better over there versus on X or Mastodon or wherever. So I haven't politicized, although I know it's a political thing, this media landscape. I haven't politicized my media. So hence why I'm on Blue Sky, Mastodon, Threads, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, because I'm not so much interested in the political standpoint of, well, be on Blue Sky because of, you don't want to be over there because of yeah. Whoa! What was that? Who did that? Where did that come from? Oh, I think, did I? Oh yeah, because I've got the podcast. The H8 is a portable podcast studio, basically, and I must have just touched because it's got the little pad with the music in it. I think I just touched one with I'm surprised that the cord did that. But anyway, so yeah, getting off track. So yes, anyway, so I am in all those spaces. Wherever you pick this up at, let's just connect wherever you like being at, because I'm happy to be wherever, and I've got people that I'm connected to on different platforms, and so yes, wherever you hang out at, you can connect with me there. Even better, just go to my blog and subscribe to the blog, and then you're up to date with everything all the time, because that's my central hub. That's where I push out all of my stuff, gets pushed out from that space. That is my home on the internet. So that's an even better place, is there, if you want to connect up. So let's see how I get on with doing these podcasts in this format. So I suspect the podcast will happen mobily like this, because this is a good setup, and there'll be some at the studio. I do some of my podcasts just on the phone itself, purely because I love audio as a medium. I think it's a pretty cool medium as well. So, hey, why not? Let's do it, baby. Okay, so I think that's all, folks. You've been a good crowd tonight, or today, this morning. You've been a good crowd, the birds, the bugs, and all the airplanes. Where's that? There's a line in Smash Mouth where he talks about looking up at the sky. Is that the reason why he can't breathe? Oh, and when you look up, someone once told me how there's like thousands of insects at any given time during a period of time that fly overhead, but you never really notice them. And I just looked up just now, and there's a ton of insects flying overhead. Wow. Crazy, bud. Okay, so anyway. Oh, and because this is going out as a podcast, if you're not into vodcast and you prefer to listen, you want to listen to this while you're out walking or cleaning your house or do whatever it is that you do, there is a podcast. It's on Transistor FM, Soulcruzer. Or you can just go to Spotify. You'll find it there. It's on Spotify. I think it's on Apple Podcasts too. So yes, if you just prefer audio, you like consuming your podcast as podcasts were made, which was to be an audio medium. I am on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other places where you can get your audio from. And then, of course, if you're listening to this on Spotify and you want to see where's all these planes and birds and stuff and see the field that I am currently standing in, looking like a TV news reporter to the dog walkers there, then you can go and watch this on a YouTube channel, which I've had for years, and it's got a sprinkling of videos on there. But yeah, the video thing I like video because, like I said, I consume a lot of the stuff, but making them, maybe not so much. I like making little creative learning videos I sometimes do for my learning and development space. But yeah, for the most part, when creating stuff, video is not my first medium to pick. But I've decided this morning, which is why I'm out here in this field doing this, that we need to, just because of the amount of videos that I consume, I was like, you know what? We need to get on the video ladder. So my videos are my videos won't be super produced. In fact, my whole thing with podcast and making videos is what's the least amount of editing that I could do. So podcast never been much for overproducing a thing. It gets recorded. I might cut out the beginning bit and the end bit where you're stumbling to turn the thing on, but got a couple of presets on Logic Pro, hit that, and that's it. Done, dusted, gone. Video, same. I like to record things as if they were live. You can't edit live, can you? So we get what we can get. And so, yeah, I think the videos are going to be very stream of consciousness, very much high-tech, low speed. iPhone's high-tech, isn't it? I won't even break out the big cameras. Though I have them, I got all the gear. But it's like, come on. Too much. Who wants to lug around a big camera? I got all the little stuff too. But the iPhone is just simple. It's easy. It's in your pocket, isn't it? So anyway, so these things will come at you in a minimalist way. It's not super produced. So hopefully that's your thing. If that's your thing, then you're in the right spot. If not, there's so much stuff out there. If you're not into it, you're not into it. So, yeah. Okay, anyway, that's me. I'm gone. Peace out.